Quick disclaimer before the beginning of this video. This video was scheduled to come out a week ago, but a couple things happened that did not allow that to happen. So I want this to be an evergreen video and that can be watched at any time. However, if you are watching it when it comes out, the timing doesn't exactly match up to some of the times I said in this video. Particularly, I aimed for this to be out before the official release of College Football 25, and that did not happen. So I apologize for that if that makes the video confusing in any way. But thank you and enjoy the video. NCAA 14 is the most recent and final installment in EA's NCAA football series. This game came out just a little over 11 years ago today, which is freaking crazy. I've been playing it pretty consistently ever since the game came out, which is hard to believe. We've been playing this game for 11 years now. I know, it's insane. I made a video about a year ago about how this is my favorite video game of all time, so it's been super impactful on my life. I've made several videos on my channel about this in the past. I'm going to continue to make videos about college football games on this channel into the future. It's played a big impact on my life. Obviously, the first sentence of that last paragraph was a little misleading because College Football 25 by EA, not called NCAA football, but a new college football game, is coming out. Probably when this video comes out, it will be out for early access already. I'm just trying to beat the official release date. But if you have early access, you're probably playing that game right now and not watching this shit. But because this is still the most recent installment, technically, I wanted to leave my legacy in some sort of way on this game. I made a tribute to NCAA, and now just me saying, I love this game is so good. Yeah, everyone has said that, and everybody loves NCAA 14. I want to show my impact in some other way. Plenty of people have done Dynasties before. I think that's everyone's favorite mode in the game. I guess some people prefer Road to Glory. Some people prefer Dynasty. I'm in that boat. But there have been plenty of Dynasties. There are plenty of people who will do one video rebuilds where the whole goal of the video is I'm going to build the best team with the most limited resources and become, the best rebuilder because they started with a team of 0 overall players and they built them into some great team. I don't have time to do that because the new game is coming out tomorrow. There are also people who do these really awesome story-driven franchises. I'm talking like Mr. Hurricane style, where they start with a team who's not very good and methodically over time, realistically, they build this team up to become champions. And I really admire those type of videos. I want to make those videos in the future. I've tried to make them in the past, but the new game's coming out. The new game is coming out soon here, so I can't really do that in a day. So how else am I going to leave my legacy on NCAA 14? Well, I didn't play the Summoning Salt music during this video for nothing. I want to do a speed run of this game. I think I need to get a video out quickly. What better way than to become the fastest NCAA football player of all time because I procrastinated this far enough, but I will still leave a legacy of being the fastest college football player of all time. See, that's how you clickbait. That's how you clickbait, folks. So the best thing about this idea is since the new game is coming out and everyone is, putting NCAA 14 to rest, no one is going to break this record. No one's going to go for it because everyone's going to be playing the new game. So if I do this right, I will forever be the fastest college football player of all time in NCAA 14, doing a speed run to see how fast I can win a national championship. So let's go to the website where a lot of speedrun records are held, speedrun.com. And when I go over there, they do have a category for NCAA 14, and there are a couple runs submitted already. However, I want to see how fast I can win a national championship, so we'll go to BCS championship percent here in season mode, and let's see what I need to beat to get the world record. Oh, there's no records. Well, this will be easy. Now, technically, if I was an even bigger hack than I already was, I could just play through a dynasty like normal. I could probably do that in a night if I wanted to, and just submit that off to speedrun.com and say, there, I'm the world record holder. But I'm not going to do that. I want to get this done quickly as possible. So, I developed a strategy to get this done as quickly as possible. So maybe if someone ever sees this and tries to break that record, they will actually have to strategize a bit and not just play the game at a decently quick pace to break the record. So, here's what I came up with. So I'm starting with everything default, all of the default sliders from how you get the game. Default settings, rosters. I'm not using College Football Revamped because that technically would give some people a leg up on others. I want the game to be as vanilla as possible. Everyone have a level playing field. That means default house rules for the game. My profile defaults to Heisman, so I'm going to be rocking with Heisman because also NCAA 14 is a really easy game if you're cheesing it, which I will be today. And so you need Heisman for it to have some interesting amount of content, which I'm inevitably doing this for content. 5-minute quarters is what the game defaults to, so we're going to be rocking with that. I did add some strategy where if I did 1-minute quarters on freshman difficulty, yes, that technically would be valid, but it would be dog shit. So I also have to play every single snap. I'm not a menu merchant like some people. I could just sim through the plays once I get in the game, or worst off, sim every single part of it. So no sim. Here's my definition of BCS percent. I'll put a full screen up here with all the rules. You need to complete a full season with 5-minute quarters on Heisman difficulty, and everything else is default. That is the rule set I'm going with for this video. And for some reason, this starts an entire community of BCS percent speedrunners for NCAA 14 if College Football 25 is just terrible for some reason, and everyone comes back to the game, and they don't want to play by my rules. That is perfectly fine with me. I'll forever be the record holder of most sports percent, or whatever we want to call this speedrun today. This is just the most fair and most interesting way I thought I could present this to you guys today, since speedrun.com doesn't give too much guidance for this run. I did accidentally ignore one of the rules they had that says you're not allowed to name players, that they must be named, like you must do the names of the position and then number. I accidentally didn't do that, so maybe this is a forever Mickey run and does not count as a world record run, but maybe in the hearts of us it will. I just wanted to be very upfront and honest about everything I'm doing here. Now we need to do a route. We need to figure out the fastest possible way to get through this game. I was pretty excited about kind of coming up with my own route completely with this, because this game's kind of the Wild Wild West, and no one has run a game like this before. So the first thing is team selection. Who am I going to pick for my team? Who gives me the best chance to win the national championship in the shortest amount of time? My first thought was, let's go for a team like Ohio State or Alabama, a team that would just dominate all of its opponents it plays, just to get me through the game as quickly as possible. I realize, though, there is a problem with that. Ohio State and Alabama play in conferences with the conference championship game, so I would have to play 14 games instead of 13 to get to the national championship. So that leaves me with two realistic options for conferences I can choose, the ones without conference championship games. We have the Big 12 and the American Conference. The Big 12 has a lot stronger teams to choose from. You can pick Texas, you can pick Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, TCU. All those teams are really strong in this game, and they give you a good chance to kind of run the table. The problem is you have to beat some other strong teams to also get to where you want to go. So if you pick Texas, you have to get through Oklahoma and Oklahoma State and TCU because of the Big 12's round-robin schedule. So I went with the American Conference. The American, the drawback is most of the teams start completely unranked. So you do have to sweat out a little bit. Like, can I move up the polls quickly enough? Even if I go 13-0, will that be enough to get me into the national championship? I looked at both conferences, weighed the pros and cons, and I found the perfect team. I found Louisville in the American. They already start as the number 11 team in the country, which is perfect. I only need to hop 10 teams to get into the top 2, which means if 10 of the teams above me just lose one game, I should be guaranteed to play in the national championship. Plus, Louisville in this game has Teddy Bridgewater. It won't say that in this video, but Teddy Bridgewater was the quarterback when this game came out, who was a really, really strong player in this game, so it seemed like the perfect fit. Hindsight looking back, Notre Dame also didn't play in a conference championship, and their overall is way stronger than Louisville, so maybe they were the team I should have picked, but Louisville's the team that we end up rocking with today. So now I kind of want to show you how this whole thing works. I'm going to go into the first game we play against Ohio. Don't worry, we're not going to watch the entire run. It is a bit lengthy. I'm doing it the fastest way I could think of, but we're going to jump into this game against Ohio to kind of show you the strategy that I came up with to make this happen. So we get into the game, and depending on the kickoff, we either are receiving the kick immediately or I choose an onside kick. In this example, I actually recover the onside kick because kind of the goal to the speed run is you want to have the ball for as much of the game as possible. The first thing you're going to really want to do is go to coach adjustments and go to conservative tempo. And that's going to milk the clock down super quickly. And then all you're going to do from here is just run the ball. Now, running the ball in this game is utterly broken with a lot of plays. Some of the plays suck, but most of them are just insane. And so if you just run the ball, most of the time in 3 to 4 downs, you will get the first down. And then you just milk the clock to the end of the quarter. Now, I kind of discovered some things as I was going through this run that can affect this. And full disclosure, I am not good at this game, so that also kind of affected the run. This wasn't my first attempt at this, just trying to figure out routes, but this is the first one that I actually got a run on, and this was my first real attempt. I wasn't going to actually grind this game out for a perfect run, but this is kind of what we're going for. Now we're going to kind of talk about what things can and will go wrong, and I'm going to kind of talk through what happens in each of these games that kind of pose threats to the run not being perfect. Most of the run is pretty boring to watch. It's just me doing this, running the ball over and over and over and over again as we watch this clock go down, which comes immediately to one of the big problems and one of the things I think I personally did wrong in this run. When you get the ball on your drive, you do not want to score until it's the end of the half. And what happens here is that I scored too quickly. I scored with 1:52 left in the half. I went for an onside kick again to see if I get the ball back, but I did not get it this time, and so Ohio has the ball. And the CPU uses the clock a lot worse than you do. They don't run the tempo, or the conservative tempo. So your two choices is to play really good defense, and the problem is I suck, so I can't play good defense against Heisman CPUs consistently, or let them score immediately so I can get the ball back and continue to start milking the clock. And I didn't really have a consistent plan with this. I kind of just played it by ear of, oh, I'm going to play defense. Oh, I'm going to run a punt block and try and let them score immediately, kind of just depending on the game. I was very, very inconsistent with this entire run. So now that I've kind of explained how exactly this run goes, we're going to kind of break down the key moments of each game here. So there actually was immediate drama in this run, funny enough. So I did score after letting Ohio score. I scored again to end the half, and then I got the ball right back, which was so huge because I ran the ball straight down the field, took the entire half until 50 seconds left, which caused a turnover. I didn't get the ball in on 4th down, so Ohio had 50 seconds to go tie the game, which I wasn't going to let them do, but if I didn't let Ohio score and then go and score back myself, I would have had to get the ball back from Ohio and then waste more time to score myself. So this kind of did work out in my favor, but this one was a little tighter than it needed to be. I was shooting for about 15 minutes a game, and this one was a little over that. FCS East, there was no drama. This was actually one of the games I decided to play defense against them. So first half, I received the ball, took it right down the field, scored at the very end of the half, and then second half, I kicked off to FCS, stopped them. They went 3 and out, and then I got the ball back, milked the rest of the clock out. Super easy game. I won 7-0, which isn't something you want to see against FCS. But in this run, 7-0 is the perfect score. Kentucky didn't go too badly. Kentucky is about the same rating as Louisville in this game. This is the first one I was a little nervous about. But first half, I received, I scored. That went well. Second half, I actually kicked an onside. It didn't work, but I decided to play defense instead of going for immediately getting the ball back because with letting Kentucky score, there are just certain risks there with that, where if you fumble on accident or something doesn't go according to plan, the game does something you don't like, the time lost from playing defense might actually help you. But I did stop Kentucky after that onside kick. They got a field goal, but then I just ran the rest of the clock out. After that pretty simple game against Kentucky, we move on to FIU now. FIU game was a little more nerve-wracking, but it didn't really need to be. I went with the try and play defense approach instead of just letting them score and getting the ball back. I scored a field goal at the very end of the game, but kind of had the game in hand the entire way. I am terrible at defense, so FIU did score when I was trying to play defense, but I won this one 10-7. I scored on my only drive of the first half, and then the second half, when I got the ball after FIU's first drive, I slowly walked the ball down and kicked a field goal. Temple game, yet again, another uneventful one. Nothing really happened that wasn't really happening in the other games so far. Rutgers was actually one where I did dig myself into a bit of a hole, and we're going to watch here. On 4th down, I did a pass play, and I actually got myself into some trouble and got sacked on 4th down. So I decided, okay, now it's time to play some defense, because if I get behind schedule, that's when things start to really fall off the rails, and we're going to see this more later on. We did stop Rutgers, so they never scored in the first half. We then got the ball back in the second half. Rutgers never scored, and then we got a touchdown to end the game. So no harm, no foul. Did take a little longer than we would have liked, though. UCF went according to plan. We did the defense strategy, 3 and out, got them to punt. Then we actually ran the ball all the way back to give us more room to work with to run out the rest of the clock for the half. Did that, no problem. Beat UCF pretty easily. USF was actually a bit of an oopsie-whoopsie. First half, no problems. Second half, we play defense.
Whatever.
We get USF into 3rd and long. They throw a bomb down the field, catch the ball for a 75-yard touchdown, and then they go up. But again, because our tempo was already fine, we had a touchdown built in for them. So all we really had to do was walk down and score a touchdown at the end of the half after that, which we ended up doing. We had 7 seconds left in the game to score a 15-yard touchdown, so it was a little nerve-wracking. We did end up winning that. It was one of the more stressful games in the run, but we did have a pretty masterful drive down the field that I'm showing here that we did use to win the game. UConn was actually a pretty big pain in the ass. Their offense was just tough to stop. I was having a hard time with it. Their first drive, they went right down and scored. Then on our drive, we went down and scored, and I made the baffling decision to go for 2. I guess in my head I thought I'm going to need to score more than them to win anyways, and we can't go to overtime. But I did get it. I won it by 1. Then later in the game, we scored again, tried to go up 2 scores, could not. UConn's moving on the field. I'm freaking out, going, I can't stop these guys. They've been able to do whatever to me. Luckily, we were able to get the stop on the goal line. They did waste a bunch of our time. This game almost went 20 minutes, which is way behind schedule, but oh well, we made it happen and got the win here against UConn. But back-to-back pretty drama-filled games. Houston game, things were actually going pretty well, and then we started to lose kind of control of what was going on. We accidentally got into 4th down. It was 4th and 3. That's usually manageable to pick up with one of the running money plays I use. Did not work out. Houston stopped us, and then proceeded to walk right down the field and score a touchdown. Luckily, we were able to do a very quick drive of our own and score right before halftime to have the game tied at that point. Houston did, though, unfortunately, receive the ball because, again, we started with the ball in the game. So they received the ball and then went right down and scored themselves. My defense was not good enough. For this to work, we would either have to score twice or we would have to do the normal drive that we typically do and score a 2-point conversion, where if it did not work, we would lose the game. I had been playing the game, though, for 2 hours and 40 minutes at this point, and really did not want to completely start over because of a potentially 1-2-point conversion. So I decided I was going to score as quickly as possible and then just stop Houston at some point. My defense sucks, but I figured I could at least get one stop to save me a whole headache of time replaying 2 hours and 40 minutes worth of gameplay. Luckily, I was able to get the stop. Another slightly annoying thing that you can strategize around is that if you are going for a go-ahead field goal, the CPU, if you are tied with them at least, the CPU will call timeouts to ice your kicker, so you do not go ahead and just win the game. So that is a bit of a time loss, especially if they have 3 timeouts. So just something to keep in mind of kind of strategizing around when you try and kick that field goal if you're really trying to save time. I am getting a little nervous at this point because we are only number 3 in the country with 2 games left, which means we need one of the 2 teams ahead of us to lose, or else we don't even get a chance to play in the national championship, which would have made this whole thing really all for nothing. Memphis is next. Both of us score in the first half. I milk the entire second half on my second half drive, kick a field goal there. So no problem. With 1 second left, game's tied, but we do get the win going into Cincinnati. And honestly, Cincinnati was the exact same deal as the Memphis game. Both of us scored in the first half on our first drives. Really wasn't too worried about playing defense, just get them on and off the field, and then we milked the entire second half, which had me clenching, had me wondering, are we going to make it? Are we going to make it? And if so, who are we going to play? In the polls, Georgia Tech and Alabama were above us. The NCAA 14 sim, they absolutely love Georgia Tech, and Alabama is a monster. I would much rather see Georgia Tech here. That is a team I was very confident we could beat. Alabama would be a much tougher one because their overalls are so much higher than us. Then it would actually be the first game. It would be a little challenging to just cheese to win straight up. We lucked out. We did get in. However, we had to play Alabama. So not the best outcome, but still a good outcome from us. So the big bad Alabama Crimson Tide. Here we go. National championship. And this game did not work out as the other games did. This one was a barn burner. Alabama's first drive, they score immediately. Our first drive, oh fuck, we did not score. And Alabama's second drive, they score. But
maybe the worst player of the game ever. Okay, that's fine.
It's 14-0, so my immediate thought is, I am terrible at user defense. I have to stop an Alabama team on Heisman that is a way stronger overall than me, and I have to worry about scoring myself, overcoming a 2-touchdown hole against a really good Alabama defense, and do it as quickly as I can. So I was able to milk the clock properly to get to the goal line as the time was expiring in the half and make it 14-7 with us receiving the ball in the second half. So there's a chance. We do have to stop Alabama legitimately at least once, but there is a chance we can still do this. So we get the ball to start the second half. Here we go. And the running just didn't work. Alabama stopped us deep in our own territory. They get the ball and pretty much immediately score, making it 21-7. So now we are in a really, really deep hole. We are able to score for ourselves, and just watch what happens on the next Alabama drive.
And we take him down!
So I am hype at this point. We're getting the ball back. If we are able to move down the field and score, I could use the 2-point conversion gambit to guarantee I win this game in regulation. And at midfield, I heave it up to the user. I click on the ball, don't let my receiver finish the route he was supposed to run, and it gets picked off, and we end up losing the game. Now, this is a speed run, and this is where this video might get a bit controversial. It might get a bit Mickey Mouse. But I'm a busy man. This run is nearing 4 hours at this point. I wanted to finish it sub 4. That was one of my kind of goals. My goals I did not tell you about. But I was not about to replay this entire thing because we lost to Alabama. So I did as any shitty friend would do when you're playing a game against them and he's about to lose. I quickly paused the game, closed it out, and said, that never happened. We're running it back. I did not lose. The clock never struck 0, so I did not lose the game. So we're going to go again. And the second time, it was executed to perfection. Never a doubt, baby. World record, world champion. I am the fastest. I am the best NCAA football 14 player in the world.
Did it.
It was never a doubt.
That's world record.
The fastest man.
World record.
Earth. World record holder. He's a champion.
World record.
He is the best.
Oh my god. Sub 407. What a run. No one said 407 could be done. No one said sub 407. 406.04. World record.
So technically, I am the world record holder and the fastest NCAA football 14 BCS championship winner of all time, at least recorded online right now. Now, is this serious in the slightest? No. This was just something fun, a fun way I wanted to say goodbye to NCAA 14, a way that I felt like I could leave my legacy on the game. I think the legacy I'm really leaving is that I played the game for 11 years and I'm still complete dog shit at it, but we could at least leave saying that I technically do own the world record for being the fastest person to complete a season in the game. So I hope you enjoyed this kind of look at how I decided to say goodbye to the game, and I hope everyone has a really fun time with College Football 25. So I really hope you enjoyed that video, and I will see you guys next time. We're not going to be talking about NCAA 14 anymore, so it's a bit of a bittersweet moment. Lots of videos on this channel about that game, but this was the last one. So thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.